All right, I'm live. Discord. I forgot my headphones. Gotta go grab them 1 second. Okay. Let's see here. This out. Put it in there. So since yesterday, I actually ended up I rendered this again. It looks good now. But I filled in these 2 spots I was talking about, and then I actually went a little further and went up to the 15-minute mark. So now I'm going to do these 2, and then my goal for today is to get through both the story and gameplay sections, ending over here at about 21:30. And then I know I keep saying this. I keep saying, oh, on Saturday I'll top it off or whatever. I'll do this tomorrow. And then I haven't been able to get on Saturdays, but tomorrow I'm hoping that I still can do that. Finish it, because I really want to upload this on Monday. So, let's see what we can do. I'm hoping it will go by faster. I've already picked out some good clips, and this is just gameplay footage. Over here, I don't think I'll need to get any photographs of developers. I think I can use some of the behind-the-scenes footage for that, which I already have. And then, concluding paragraph is mostly just game footage. So, let's get started
group with shared vision that morale stayed high even during a heavy crunch period. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication.
Okay, I gotta find out where he says this, which page of the... of the post-mortem. Holy crap, come on. Here we go. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication, honesty. So, this is on a page I don't think that I saved from Photoshop. I'm gonna pick this one. No, just click it once. Thank you. All right. No, come on. PNG. Save it inside of here. PNG. Honesty. Okay. Now, we've already pulled into here. So we just need to grab this, put it in here, make it a 3D object, delete the matte. Get a camera. Grab our light, number 1, and position it, or rotate it maybe. Okay, that's not what we want to do. We want to position it over here. Position this about 200, 300 out. Grab a background. This one should do fine. Behind everything else. Is it out there? It is. Okay, I'll put it like here or something. Then we'll position our camera. Rotate the camera this direction. Position it down. Oops, that's the light. That's not what I want. I want this. Wait a minute, what? Isn't this where it was? They say the most effective form of communication, honesty. There it is. Okay, move this down. Yeah, like right about there. Let's move this a little closer. Put it more. I'm moving the wrong thing. More centered. That's where we're going to start. I have to listen to the whole thing here. Stop. Turn the background off.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication, honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire, the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but
okay, so
team's interest. Integration of new.
This is where we're going to want to have our next keyframe.
Newcomers could have disrupted.
It's going to have to move up. But we're also going to want to be, I think, a little tighter in and moved over like that. And then the position of the light will have to change as well. From here to here, it's going to have to move up. We can read this better.
But didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once.
So by the end, what the freak? Why does the light change at all? Why is it? What? What are you doing? Yeah, don't do that. Crap. Don't do that. Okay. Move in. No. This. Move it in a little. Over a little. Rotate it a touch. Move it towards more centered. Man, that freaking interpolation crap is so stupid. I don't know why it defaults to auto Bezier. It always ruins the freaking animation. I don't get why it does that. Why would anyone want auto Bezier on the interpolation? Wish there was a way to make it so that it defaults to linear on the spatial interpolation. Freaking stupid. Linear. Okay, you're going to F9 all these keyframes. See what it looks like.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that
I think the light's position should be a little lower so that it is only highlighting the part I want. It guides the eye a little bit. So that like this part's a little darker and like right here. So I move it closer to it. I think I can do a better job at highlighting exactly the part I want them to look at. Right there. Then we move up here. I think it needs to be over there a bit more. Like that.
we were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because
Okay, I want this to come a little sooner.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty.
I think maybe I could even start the position a little higher and like over here. I don't know. Closer in. What the fetch are you doing? It's gonna make it disappear too much. I want to like focus its cone angle maybe down. No, maybe not. Maybe the feather. Huh. It's crazy. Alright, I won't mess with that. Just want it to be focused a little on the we part more. Like, put the light there. And then as it goes, the light will shift down the lower part. And it'll shift up there.
We were able.
I'm going to turn the motion blur on.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't.
I keep getting these ideas for things to do to make it easier to read it. Problem is, oh geez, really? Can I put a second camera in? Zoom it out. Come on, second camera. Camera 2. so I can just see what I'm doing. Just want to see what I'm doing. That's all. I'm going to mask out this part of the rectangle. I'm masking the camera. What am I doing? What the fetch? What the fetch? What the... Dude, what happened? No! No! What? How do I get rid of that? I've never done that before. How do I delete that? This. What is this? Get it out of here. How do I delete this? How do I get rid of that? What the balls? I have never added a mask to a camera before. How do I get rid of it? What the fetch? That was weird. Really weird. Okay, anyways, my idea is to pull this out. But I think I'll need to do it in a way that's a little tricky. Kind of like that. So that's going to be an add mask. I'm going to put it on here and do an subtract mask. Then we're going to put a white solid. Make it 3D. Put it underneath this. Position it in the same place. Where is it? It needs to come down. In place to cover that up. That way, what we're going to do is position, and it's going to, over the course of like 2 seconds, it's going to come out towards us. So what this should look like, go back to camera 1. Is that we'll have it there, and then it's going to like pull out so that it's kind of looks weird with the light though, doesn't it? My light options. Just match whatever this is. Negative 387. It doesn't matter because we're going to pull it out. Easy to read.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication. We were able to maintain the most We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication.
It's pretty close to what I want. Go back to the first camera view, or the second camera view, I should say. It pulls out, it's kind of pulling away because I don't have its... This needs to... What are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? It needs to have a center point there. What's that going to do? Oh, geez, no. Stop. Anchor point. Move it down. What the balls? I think it's because of 3D object. I can't do that. So I'm just going to have to eyeball this, I think. Anyways, the position needs to not go so far out to the right like that. Make it look like it comes straight out. Possibly up a little bit. Just come straight out. Just go a little further to the right. No, that's not what I'm doing. Swing. Okay, that's good. Camera one. Actually, I think I liked it better before. Because the way the camera moves here, it's going to like cover up those words. Yeah, I think I will undo that.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication. We were able to maintain the most effective.
Yeah, undo that. Oh, don't do that. I mean... Okay, F9. And then we'll just keep it like that. probably need to do the same with this to keep it. What sucks about this is that I feel like now I'm going to need to do this for all of the times that I use this to quote him. I'll need to pull the text out so people can see the part that I'm... That's going to take forever. I won't do it for now. I'll do that as a last step.
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem.
Look at this, 50%. Come on. Show what it'll actually...
We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. We were able to maintain...
Okay, so I'm going to need to do the same for that part up there. Which should be a simpler mask. I forgot. I'm going to have to duplicate this one again. Okay, copy that, paste it onto there. Except we have to make that and subtract masks, please. Subtract mask, and where's this solid located at? We need to duplicate it, put it up higher. There we go. Now, this one.
Could have...
Just get that keyframe, please. Pull it. Oops, wrong way. Pull it. What the fetch? No! What are you doing? What? Wait a minute. I'm so confused right now. You shouldn't have that one at all. It shouldn't be pulling the whole paper up. It should just be pulling that part. There we go. Okay. Jeez. 632. Ridiculous. Stop. don't think I need to pull it out that far. Who knows, maybe it'll look fine.
Of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. Of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because
I think I'll spread it out a little longer. Let's just look at it at third.
of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. Of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't.
Okay, looks good. Let's render it all. Make sure to turn the backdrop back on. Delete camera 2. Save it. Render it. Honesty animation. Go. Why did that go so fast? Hey, Jim Guy. It's going well. I can pull this in here now. Where am I at? Here, 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 and here. A lot of progress bars, man. Too many progress bars. Keep like increasing the quality of these animations, and I have to go back and like fix all.
High even during a heavy crunch period. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threat.
You know what? I don't like the beginning of that animation.
We were able to maintain the
because it comes out too fast. I think I need to put a easy eases on those and do it again. I expect the Raptors to win with all the injuries to the Warriors. What am I doing? I need to take this out. Take this out. Exactly, Chris. Let's do that again. No, QuickTime. Sort of like ease out like that, yeah. Some guy just joined Discord and he's asking about the chronology of Final Fantasy, and like everyone's telling him there is no chronology, and he keeps insisting on asking the same question about the order of the stories. It's just like, dude, how many times do we have to tell you there's no chronology? He just like refuses to freaking take no for an answer. It's in the Final Fantasy discussions. This guy Fenter Studios is just like, what the fetch, dude? Are you trolling? You cannot possibly be that dense. Yeah, they have Klay Thompson back, but who knows if he'll be able to play defense, you know, on Kawhi Leonard. Holy crap, this dude is weird as fetch. Complete freaking like bonkers weirdo. Uh, was the guy's name? I almost forget. I blocked somebody a long time ago. He's so irritating. Um, I can't remember his name anymore. Hold on. I'll look up the freaking names of the people I've blocked. No, actually, I can't do that while I'm live. Never mind. Anyways, he's the same guy who like argued forever about how Final Fantasy Tactics is like prejudice against Christians and like suggests that like all Christians are evil or something like that. Dude just like went nuts on that point. In every single Tactics video I ever posted, he like would not stop talking about it. And he was also someone who would constantly argue about how bad Chrono Trigger is. How it's for little kids and stuff. It's just like fetch off. You're so annoying. You have like 2 talking points. Oh, Matthew, Kingdom Hearts fan. That dude is something else. He's mostly been regulated to the Kingdom Hearts chat now. I think he's but yeah. Dude, this guy Fenter posted the same thing in like every single channel asking about the chronology of Final Fantasy. Dudes, I'm sensing a ban in the future for this guy. My ban senses are tingling on this fella. Things are not going to end well for him here. Yeah, he's a YouTube commenter, not a Discord guy. Forget his name. He was also the same guy that said that Final Fantasy Tactics was blocked, like banned by Europe, and that's why it wasn't released there. He had absolutely zero evidence for any of this. He was like, because it was insensitive to Christianity, that's why it was banned in Europe. And I was like, dude, it wasn't banned. It wasn't banned. Square just didn't release it there. But it wasn't banned. What are you talking about? Oh, gosh. Like, people in Europe care less about Christianity than people in America. Why would they release it in America then? Makes no sense. Yeah, that's right, dude McKay. That's right. I forgot about that. Mods were like, no, no, it's where all of these weirdos go. Don't just leave it there so that they can exist in that space and not go elsewhere. Oh, jeez. We haven't had a problem on the Discord for quite a while, though. We haven't had, like, people fighting, or I haven't really had to get involved in any altercations in months and months. I can't even remember the last time I had to, like, actually moderate something was. I think the Discord has shrank a lot, though, which helps. There's not as many users in here now as there used to be. Very few that actually, like, that actually chat, like, on a daily basis anyway. And I'm okay with that. Joker is trolling this Fenter guy back really hard. But he's more obvious than Fenter is. Fenter seems sincere. He's a better troll. Joker's just, like, outright just trying to screw around, and it's obvious, but fetch. There's actually a lot of people who were subscribed to the channel when it was a lot smaller, say around the 5 to 10,000 mark, that have kind of disappeared in comments too. And I know at least one of them expressed a similar reason for not commenting anymore. They just don't like that the channel is big. They wish it had stayed small. You know, whatever, I guess. Some people just only like things when they feel like they're one of the few who enjoys it. They don't like anything that's popular. It's got to be underground. Okay, go back to grab this. Let's replace the file. Thank you very much. That's the one. This should look a lot better now. I hope.
High even during a heavy crunch period. We were able to maintain the most effective form of communication: honesty. Speaking harshly about things that needed to be discussed wasn't a problem. We shared a common desire: the success of the project. No ego trip threatened the team's interest. Integration of newcomers could have disrupted this cohesion, but it didn't, because we didn't add large numbers to the team all at once. In addition, the game's scope was reduced at two key periods of development. The first came during Christmas of 2002, a time far enough away from release to delude the team a bit, who still believed they had plenty of time. However, ultimately the right decision was made, cutting an entire chapter taking place in a slave village. We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move. If we had made this decision later, or worse, if we had refused to trim it, we would never have been able to finish the game on time.
Where does he say that? Risk management, I think. So I need the next page. I need to open the next page in here. And get... what the fetch? What the fetch? The very last page, this one. I actually already have this, though. I know I do. This is where they talk about testing. So it's up here. Accepted this decision. Okay, I already have it. Already have it. Wait a minute. Dang it, I think I need to put up number 13 again. There it is. Goodbye. PNG testers. This one come in here. Make it 3D object. Push it back to about 300 or so. Get us a camera in here. Get us a background. Thank you. Get in there. We accepted this decision. I'm gonna come at it from the other direction this time. Seriously though, I felt like, there we go, we can look up a little bit. Be kind of cool. We can come like down here. Like that. Turn this off for a second.
We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move. If we had made this decision later, or worse, if we had refused to trim it, we would never have been able to finish the game on time.
Okay. We're going to move it up. And we're going to rotate X down. Which means we have to move it up further. And zoom in closer. And rotate it this direction. Something kind of cool like that. Oh, how would that look? Turn off the motion blur. Oh, I didn't set keyframes. Fetch! Position, rotation. Thank you. I don't know if this will look cool or not. I'm trying to set them here though. Okay. I'm gonna go to -8. Go move it this way a little. Move up the page. Over. Zoom in. I don't know if this will look any good or not, but what the fetch? There it is. I have no idea if this will look cool or not. Oh yeah, I have to tell this to be linear. Stupid idiot. Alright, and then I'm also going to tell it to be third so I can see it sooner. That's kind of a cool move.
We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move. If we had made this decision later, or worse, if we had refused to trim it, we would never have been able to finish the game on time.
It's kind of a cool move. New camera. Let's look at it from that camera. Good. We're going to put you back to full. And we're going to do a duplication on this. The top one, we're going to pull this together. It's too far on the right side. Something like that. Put 2 mask points there. Move this one over. What the fetch are you doing? Right there. This one underneath it. This one down. Oh, geez. Just this one, please. Right there. Scoot over a little. There we go. Up just a bit. Over a little more. Yeah, that was good where it was. Yeah. Okay. So white. Solid. 3D. Same position as these. 465. Put it underneath them both. And we should be good. Now we go back to camera 1. And put it at a third and see what it looks like. If we pull this, these out over the course of about 5 seconds, pull it out here. Like that.
We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move. If we had made this decision later, or worse, if we had refused to trim it, we would never have been able to finish the game on time. We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move.
Okay, I like the move. Chris says, ominous storm clouds over Alabama. Hopefully internet power stays on this time. We had a pretty big storm here last night, but power did not go out. Jimmy Guy says, we turned FF discussion into FF quote battle and drove away the troll. Nice. You take a look at what's going on over there. What are people saying? Yep, dude is gone now. Holy fetch. Finally. Weirdo. Okay. Put that backdrop back on. I need a light in here. We can keep it in the same spot, more or less. Back up to full. Save. And as far as I'm concerned, I can just export this now. Finish the game on time animation. Go. No! Crap! Stop! 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 What the fetch? That was not what I said to do. The camera is still there. Why? Fetching moron. I wasn't on that camera. That's not the camera that was active. Replace that crap. Go. Stupid. How long did it take to make that Mario Kart video back in the old days? That was an 11-month project. Almost a full year. Start court. You're talking about this one, right? It's playing a little choppy because I'm exporting, but yeah, this took 11 months, beginning to end. I haven't watched this in a long time. This is a really good video. I'm gonna sound like I'm bragging, but my my sound design in this is beastly.
Again.
This shot here was done by Landon. I love this one.
Wow. Thank you. Hi there. Luigi, come
This shot was done by me. I was proud of this one. The animation on all those ships, like making them all look different, kind of like dynamically sort of like positioning them and going off the frame at different sides, camera shake. I also did this shot, which was a recreation from the movie. And this one took a super long time. It took about 90 hours to render this next shot, this one. It took 90 hours to render this each pass. And every time it would be done, so my computer would be on for, you know, like what is that? That's not even 3 days, like 4 days. My computer would be on rendering this only, and I could not touch it. I just walked away from my computer for 4 days. I would render this, and it's like, the animation's not quite right. It doesn't match it exactly. It's a little janky here. It's a little too quick of a shift. There's not enough ease into it. I rendered this out. Again, that's a 90-hour process, probably 7 times before I got it right. That part right there, though, when you go into the trench, that was really hard to, like, match from the movie to get it to feel exactly right. But in the end, like, you get basically the exact same motion if you, like, watch it back and forth from the movie. Like, obviously, it doesn't look exactly the same in some ways, but it's so close that if you're not watching it back to back, it's like, oh wow, that's like straight out of the movie. Like, these towers don't look the same. The texture on the Death Star doesn't look the same. But given the tools we were using, that animation really matched it. Did this get copyright struck by Disney or Nintendo, or was it better back then for legal stuff? No, this is actually pretty airtight from a legal perspective because it's parody, and we're not using any of the music from Star Wars. I composed and arranged all the music in this myself. And there's no shots directly from any of the movies in it. So using characters and stuff like that is fine if it fits under parody, which it does. So this is an airtight video. There's no way that they could copyright claim this at all. There's nothing, unless you wanted to count the actual sound effects from Star Wars, but I have layered them so well underneath a lot of other things that I sort of created like a new twisted version of the sound effects. Like you can hear the ship sounds and it's like, oh, that's recognizably a TIE fighter, but I've got a lot of sound underneath it to where they could never, like, there's no system, there's no algorithm that could like catch it and like try and put a copyright strike on it. So we did a really thorough job of making sure that this was not going to get copyright struck. And all the music from Mario Kart and all the music from Star Wars is completely rearranged by me. So I did these shots too. The dashboard here. This is completely remade by me as well. This animation here was kind of like hard to figure out, like the actual frame by frame of like how this should move. You see how it has a bunch of them appearing like this? I went frame by frame with the original movie and tried as best as I could to copy the like style of the dash and like how this thing moves around. Took a long time, so I did all these shots too of the dashboard. I really wanted to make sure to throw in the "So Long, Gay Bowser" somewhere in the video. It's like my favorite Mario sound clip is "So Long, Gay Bowser." I really wanted to put that in. That explosion was done by Landon. Looks really good.
Oh yeah! Mario wins!
I really wanted to make sure as well, I didn't do this shot, but I wanted to make sure that we had an element in there where, you know, when you win a race in Mario Kart and they kind of just keep racing while the stats come up, you know, your guy will get hit by a shell and get passed up and stuff like that. He didn't actually have someone pass him up, which I was a little bit like, oh man, you should have had someone pass him and like go into first. But it got across the same idea.
Mario wins!
And the animation on that was really good. Landon did an excellent job on his like turn and like Mario's expression when he gets hit. Like the way it sort of whips back. Like that's such a good animation. Looks so good. Really nice. The character models came from various sources. I think that Mario, Luigi, and possibly Yoshi came from like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, I think. Again, with modifications. These ships came from just a user on one of the sites where you can like pay for a pack and like download stuff. who had recreated all the ships in 3D. So that came from a user. We paid for those. But they weren't textured. We had to texture the models. It was just the model itself. But Landon went in and actually individually textured each of these ships manually. So that, like, this isn't made by someone else. All this texture work on here was done by Landon from start to finish. I think the other ones came from other sources, like maybe Mario Party or something like that. Again, with modifications. And then Landon rigged them so that we could animate them. The characters, and with the expressions, that was basically just a texture as well. So anytime that they like close their eyes or blink their eyes, we're just like popping on a texture on the face.
Yeah! Mario Wii!
Now there was a tool that came out pretty much towards the end of our process on this, where we could have done facial animation. Like, you can hook up your camera, and the camera will read your facial animation, and we could have then applied it on here, but it would have made our process, we would have had to re-render a bunch of shots. It would have made it like an extra 6 months, so we decided not to do it. But that's the one thing that I wish we could have done, is do some, like, a little bit of, like, customized facial animation on the characters. I think that would have really sealed it as, like, top-of-the-line animation.
Oh yeah! Mario Wii!
Yeah, man, that's the best video we ever made, I think, by far. And it should have had a lot more views than this. It would have reached about 50 million views. That was the track it was on until we made a change, maybe like 5 days after releasing it or something, to the description here. I think that we wanted to include this link so that people could check out other videos.
Here we go!
Yeah, it went straight to Mario Parkour. And because we did that, it wrecked the metadata on this, and the views just died. But this should have been a 50 million video. And if it was, we'd probably still be doing this today. Doing this channel and building it up. We'd probably be at 500,000 subscribers, and we probably would have kept going with this. But this just freaking killed us to work on this for a year. And, you know, that equates to about $2,000. So 3 guys working for a year to split $2,000 is not sustainable at all. So we pieced out. We were like, nope, we're done with this. This is bullcrap. We did end up doing a couple more, I think. Yeah, so we released that, and then we did Mario Parkour 2 immediately after so that we could try and make up some views. Because we knew that would get views. And then this video tanked, did like nothing. So we were like, crap. And then this was a sponsored video, so the views were actually paid for on this one. It didn't organically reach that number. And then we made this video, and I was just like, you know what? We have 200,000 subs, and we can't even like break 20K views on videos that are like our own original ideas. This is bullcrap. We have to get out of this because they're too short. YouTube doesn't like that in the algorithm. They want people to have high watch time, and they want people to go on like watch sessions and binge watch a bunch of your videos back to back. And this channel was just not able to do that. The videos were too short, so YouTube's algorithm hated us. And we quit after that one. Even though I thought this was a good video. I thought it was pretty clever and pretty funny, but whatever. It's in the past now. Yep, that's kind of the reason why we're trying to get this website going that I was talking about yesterday. Because we're still at the mercy of the algorithm. I mean, sure, the types of videos we make now are better for the algorithm, but I mean, it could change any day again. Like, we have no control over it. So we want to have a place where we can control that, you know?
slave village. We accepted this decision because, in the end, everyone agreed it was the right move. If we had made this decision later, or worse, if we had refused to trim it, we would never have been able to finish the game on time.
Cut it right there.
The second scope reduction came after E3 2003, where it became much more clear that they wouldn't have time to do everything they had planned. It meant that a lot of work they were proud of, that they had spent a lot of time on, would be lost. Ultimately, though, it was the price that had to be paid to deliver a satisfying experience in time for release. And to be honest, I think the game is better for it. Of course, I can't say that for sure. I don't know what was cut or how it would have flowed had they had time to include everything they had been planning. What I do know is this: Sands of Time is perfectly paced as it is. There's a flow to it that feels so fine-tuned and natural that I can't imagine adding to it would make the experience any better. For those who have watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I actually prefer shorter games. I'd rather play a 20-hour RPG like Chrono Trigger or Suikoden 1, games that are laser-focused and contain zero filler, than a 100-hour RPG full of extraneous busy work and padded side content. Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours.
Cool. I will go back and I will change all of these animations before this to be more in line with these, where the text comes out from the page. That'll be the last step. I think I might keep this one.
The difficulties in crafting the story in an essay submitted to the Electronic Book Review. In it, he talks about the do's and don'ts of video game storytelling and admits that the first script they were devising didn't support the core gameplay concepts, relying too much on exposition-heavy cutscenes and telling a story that had little to do with what the player would spend his or her time doing while playing. In other words, he felt the story contained a lot of ludonarrative dissonance. Pop's core gameplay is very simple. There's only one playable character. The game...
Yeah, I'll probably have to change that one too. Anyways, I'll go back and do that.
In a disastrous set of acquisitions.
I think that one can stay as is.
Through 2 commercial disappointments during this time.
That's fine. How does this one look?
But stood long.
I can't really do any 3D camera move on this because the computer itself is not a 3D object. It's a flat text, or it's a flat image, so I can't really like move around.
Long before that, as a classic IP created in 1989 by Jordan Mechner and
yeah, that one looks good. This one I might take the Prince of Persia logo off it and just have the thing in the background.
Yannis Mallah and Patrice Delassetz,
I still need to re-record the pronunciation of his name.
Producer and creative director on The Sands of Time, respectively, clearly understood how to do this without sacrificing the project's soul.
Actually, I'm happy with how that looks. I think I'll keep that one the same. But any place where we're looking at text, I think I'm going to go back and change it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 animations I'll have to redo. Then they'll probably take a long time to render too, but I will do that later. For now, let's just try and get through this section and get it finished. Chris says, your review site clearly needs to take off, and then Discord-like add-on game store, and then Adventures of Chris will get off the ground floor. I would be totally down with that if people wanted to post, if they wanted places to post their games on the website. That'd be freaking sweet. Doom Guy says, I really hope that YouTube gets a serious competitor and the content creators bail, leaving them with just late-night TV clips and movie trailer channels and stuff. But of course, that would require an alternate business model that hasn't been figured out yet. Yeah, it needs a competitor, but I mean, in order to make a competitor like a real, actual threat to YouTube, it would require a company with billions of dollars to invest. I mean, something like Amazon would have to come in and try it, you know? I don't think there's going to be any upstart group that's going to beat YouTube, realistically. Chris Ewan says, it's the same for Steam game stories, actually. People at some level want competition, but there are huge advantages to everything being together on one platform that outweigh the desire for competition. That's exactly right.
time for release. And to be honest, I think the game is better for it. Of course, I can't say that for sure. I don't know what was cut or how it would have flowed had they had time to include everything they had been planning. What I do know is this: Sands of Time is perfectly paced as it is. There's a flow to it that feels so fine-tuned and natural that I can't imagine adding to it would make the experience any better. For those who have watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I actually prefer shorter games. I'd rather play a 20-hour RPG like Chrono Trigger or Suikoden 1, games that are laser-focused and contain zero filler, than a 100-hour RPG full of extraneous busywork and padded side content. Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours, but...
Okay, this can just be anything, I think. That's pretty cool acrobatic stuff. I want to save that for later.
But every...
What the fuck? Let's see where I can put this.
Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours, but every area, every combat encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience and never wears out its welcome. Every puzzle and every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience and never wears out its welcome. To me, fluidity, pace, and a high standard of execution.
What can I pull from this one? Oh, combat encounter. Well, actually. Some more cool acrobatics. Save that for later. There's some combat there I wanted to show. Every puzzle. This could be for the part where it says every puzzle.
Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours, but every area, every combat encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of the story feels...
Something like that.
Every puzzle and every sequence of the story. Every puzzle and every sequence of the story.
That just feels like a hard cut. Maybe I should do a cross dissolve between those.
Puzzle and every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience and never wears out its welcome. To me,
okay, so
Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours. Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours, but every area, every combat encounter...
Okay, what's a good area to show? The library is always pretty good. What was I doing? That's probably enough.
But every area, every combat encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience. And
okay, combat encounter. What was this one called? At the end of this, there was combat.
every combat encounter, every puzzle,
We'll one of these.
Every combat encounter, every puzzle
What the fetch?
encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of 8 hours, but every area, every combat encounter, less than 8 hours, but every area, every combat encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of the story.
I think this one should hang a little longer before it changes over.
Hours, but every area, every combat encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience and never wears out its welcome. To me, fluidity, pace, and a high standard of execution in the presentation always trumps an excess of content.
I think I might actually put this here and do a story sequence.
Out its welcome. To me, fluidity, pace, and a high standard of execution in the presentation always trumps an excess of content. In other words, quality.
Okay, so I want a story sequence. Maybe I should do something towards the end. This part. Yeah, something like this.
Captured you as a slave.
What?
You have every reason to hate me.
And every sequence of the story feels.
Kind of, yes. I think I'm at the easier part of the editing now, because this is mostly just going to be... It's mostly just going to be editing footage that I have already. I don't have to do a lot of After Effects stuff, right? Actually, that won't work. I need to pull this forward.
Sequence of the story feels like it's paramount.
It cuts away. I need to speed it down to 95, possibly 94, and see what this will do.
Every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience and never wears out its welcome. To me, fluidity, pace.
Okay, I think that'll look good.
Content. Sands of Time can be finished in less than 8 hours, but every area, every combat encounter, every puzzle, and every sequence of the story feels like it's paramount to the experience and never wears out its welcome. To me, fluidity, pace, and a high standard of execution in the presentation always trumps an excess of content. In other words, content. In other words, quality over quantity, and in Prince of Persia's case,
Let's see. Come back here. 4 that I was fighting, right?
content. In other words, quality over quantity, and in other words, quality over quantity, and in other words, quality over quantity, and in Prince of Persia's case, the content. In other words, quality over quantity, and in Prince of Persia's case, the game contains only the highest quality content.
I think I've pulled much from this. getting fetched up. Actually, there's a spot exactly where I know that can go later.
Case, the game contains only the highest quality content. As stated earlier, the gameplay of Sands of Time boils down to 3 core features: acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps the most lauded of these is the first, with its fluid movement worked so brilliantly into the well-designed platforming and exploration. It has a very ninja-like feel to it. As stated earlier, the gameplay of Sands of Time boils down to 3 core features.
Okay, I want something to put in there.
Acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps the most lauded of these is the first, with its fluid movement worked so brilliantly into the well-designed platforming and exploration. It has a very
Okay.
As stated earlier, the gameplay of Sands of Time
Go back. Where's this at?
Time boils down to 3 core features: acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps the most lauded of these is the first, with its fluid movement worked so brilliantly into the well-designed platforming and exploration.
That's good.
It has a very ninja-like feel to it, incorporating wall running, climbing, and even gymnastics-like parkour.
Are you looking forward to anything in particular at E3 this year, or are the hype levels still low? Sorry if you get this question daily. I actually don't get asked that often. Let's see. I mean, obviously, the Final Fantasy VII Remake news, like, more information about what exactly it's going to be in terms of the, like, what point in the story it's going to lead up to in the first part. Just, you know, all the details that we didn't get in that teaser, which was kind of a lot. So that is probably what I'm looking forward to learning about the most. But, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is a game I was really looking forward to. Last of Us Part 2. You know, like, details on when these games are coming out. Death Stranding, if we could learn more about what the actual game is going to be. There's a number of things that I think, you know, we finally get some answers on.
Contains
right?
only the highest quality content. As stated earlier, the gameplay of Sands of Time boils down to 3 core features: acrobatics, As stated earlier, the gameplay of Sands of Time boils down to 3 core features: acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps acrobatics, combat, and rewind.
Be good if I could find an example of me using rewind in combat. There it is right there. So we show the combat and we show me rewinding. This happened. This is a good fight, though. It's pretty good. Holy crap, come on. Hammer's in a bad spot, though.
Combat and rewind.
Oh, my fetch, come on.
Combat and rewind. Acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps the most lauded of these is the first, with its
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea to let it hang a little longer.
acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps the most lauded of these is the four features: acrobatics, combat, and rewind. And perhaps the most lauded of these is the first, with its fluid movement. First, with its fluid movement worked so brilliantly into the well-designed platform and exploration. It has a very ninja-like feel to it, incorporating wall running, climbing, and even gymnastics-like parkour. It has a very ninja-like feel to it.
That's a combat thing. What's this one?
It has a very ninja-like feel. It has a very ninja-like feel to it, incorporating wall running. It has a very ninja-like feel to it, incorporating wall running, climbing, and even gymnastics-like parkour.
Where's that clip I just found where I was... I guess this one.
Feel to it, incorporating wall running, climbing. Incorporating wall running, climbing, and even gymnastics-like parkour. All of this gymnastics-like parkour. All of this to it, incorporating wall running, climbing, and even gymnastics-like parkour. All of this is incredibly responsive, and one of my favorite things about playing the game as I was growing up was mastering the movement like parkour. All of this is incredibly responsive, and one of my favorite things about playing the game as I was growing up was mastering the movement to the point where I could fly.
Combat stuff. Okay, I think I want a clip from the caves for this. Guy says, might not get much info on those other games you mentioned because they are Sony exclusive. I think Cyberpunk will end the Xbox conference. Probably blow people away. Early 2020 might be crazy with FF7 Remake, Last of Us 2, and maybe Cyberpunk. Dude, I still haven't played Sekiro. I haven't played A Plague's Tale. I haven't really played Dragon Quest XI much. I wanted to play the Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, I haven't even touched so many games that are already out. I'm so far behind now that it's pretty useless. I don't know if I'll ever catch up at this point. Caves. There is a section of this part where I'm like going really fast on these jumps. Yeah, this part I think. Maybe not this part. Okay, not this part. I think I used that earlier. This part might be the part I'm thinking of. Except I didn't go fast there. Maybe I'll just cut in the middle of this.
The game as I was growing up was mastering the movement to the point where I could fly through these platforming sections at high speeds, which
That's probably good enough.
sections at high speeds, which just feels so was mastering the movement to the point where I could fly through these platforming sections at high speeds, which just feels so satisfying. Once the prince obtains the dagger of time in the platforming sections at high speeds, which just feels so.
Okay, I think here, maybe there's a part where you like. Okay, it would have been before this. Here.
Under the burden of horrors too great to bear, and conjured up a phantom.
At high speeds, which just feels so satisfying. Once the prince obtains the dagger of time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake, keeping the player's momentum, like the prince's, moving forward at all times. This power is limited by the number of sand tanks you currently have.
Okay, I'm starting to sense that this might take a little longer than I was expecting. So there's going to have to be very specific things I have to find.
And each time you use the rewind power, it depletes one of.
What's going on here? Okay, I think I might be able to get like one more clip in, but unfortunately, I do need to go. These things always just take longer than I expect, the animations. So maybe the plan will be that tomorrow I can finish this section, and then maybe I'll just do some on Sunday and finish it off after the podcast or something. I really want to upload this on Monday. But
Fly through these platforming sections at high speeds, which just feels so satisfying. Once the prince obtains the dagger of time in the story,
this, I know I can show this part, because he rewinds the time in the cutscene.
Sand.
Something like that, but that's really long.
once the prince obtains the dagger of time in the story, you'll also be Once the prince obtains the dagger of time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake, keeping the player's momentum, like the prince's, moving forward at all times.
I kind of... want to use a different clip there.
Satisfying. Once the prince obtains the dagger of time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake.
I want to show more of that.
Once the prince obtains the Dagger of Time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time.
Straight to there.
Once the prince obtains the Dagger of Time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake.
That's actually pretty good.
Once the prince obtains the Dagger of Time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake, keeping the player's momentum, like
there. Okay, I don't want that though. Dang it. Just need to like make it be 95.
fine. Once the prince obtains the Dagger of Time in the story, you'll also be able to rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake, keeping the player's momentum, like the prince's, moving forward at all times.
See, now I need a very specific clip there. I need a clip of me failing a platforming section, rewinding the time. Maybe it happened here. I need to find an example of me making a mistake in the platforming and then using the dagger to rewind the time and then trying it again. I don't think it happened here. Maybe it happened here.
This power is limited.
Like it just takes time to find these examples, you know? I think I made a mistake in here, but it might have been when I was not recording. It might have been on a different time. When I was coming out of that place. Here. I don't think I did it on this take. Nope, it wasn't this. Dang it, I don't remember a time where I failed a platforming. Oh, wait, yes I do. Dang it, where was it? Dang it, what part of the game is that? Is it after this? You come out of here. There's an example of me zooming around, though. I should probably keep that. Well, at least I thought I saw it. Yeah, I didn't. I used it before this. Yeah, this. I'm gonna use that for later. Oh, jeez, where was it? I know I even have sections of this particular part I'm thinking of in the review already. I just don't remember what it was called. Not here. Oh, here it is. So I jumped, or tried to jump. It's one part. Went back and I had to rewind it. It's right around here. That.
Rewind time up to 10 seconds when you make a mistake, keeping the player's momentum, like the prince's, moving forward at all times. This power is limited by the you make a mistake, keeping the player's momentum, like the prince's, moving forward at all times.
It's a good place to cut.
The prince's moving forward at all times. This power is limited by the number of sand tanks you currently have.
Okay, that's where I'm gonna have to stop for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you. And I will try my best to come back tomorrow. I really want to get this done this weekend, so I'll keep you up to date in Discord. Peace out.